You know, it's a little tricky to make a list of characters that I hate in DBFZ. I could just add everyone who successfully beats the that thing out of my team, but let's be honest, that would be almost the whole roster. So I'll try to be a little more practical here. Just being a strong character is not enough to annoy people. Some tricky stuff is needed to make you roll your eyes and whisper, "Not you again." What's going on, YouTube? This is DashFight Dylan bringing you another fighting game video. Now, teams consist of characters, obviously, but I'm not going to be diving into the team composition for today's video. In this video, I'm going to highlight the most hated DBFZ characters in their common team positions. Let's get started. Yep, it's hard not to notice the elephant in the room. At some point, hatred towards Android 21 Labcoat reached the point of banning the character from major tournaments. The balance update is a proper solution, alright, but after such a mess, Labcoat is firmly the most hated DBFZ character ever. When she starts spinning, man, it's disgusting. And when you start a match and see her again, you probably know this emotion of being treated unfairly by a fighting game. After the Queen of Annoyance, I'm ready to discuss the most hated in each of the three positions. Let's start off with the point characters. Vegito is a very good example of a solid character who has proper tools to gain starting advantage. When you see him in point, you know the match may go totally wrong from the very beginning. Skilled Vegito players can punish you super hard. They effectively bait opponents and provoke mistakes. One mistake, and you are in the middle of a damaging combo. Also, Vegito controls the whole screen. You can't be safe from his projectiles. Surprisingly, a lot of people use Bardock for his accessibility. The character is strong thanks to his ground buttons and good block strings, but his attacks are a bit too good. It often feels that Bardock players can just mash everything on their controller and you are still under terrible pressure and can't do anything about it. Have you ever been in a nightmarish scenario when Gotinks finishes his combo on your character with a knockdown and then activates Ghost Oki to continue pressure? It's an awful circle to be in. How much time have you spent in defense playing against Gotinks, and what for? To just see him finding an opening and starting his Ghost Oki pattern again. Here we go again, another 21. Okay, this one is not broken or anything. The evil form of Android 21 is a master of the neutral and air game. When she starts her pressure, it's not fun at all for the victim. The most disrespectful part here is her active use of simple, basic tools. The connoisseur cut is cool on paper, stealing abilities is a unique mechanic. And then the players don't actually use them and tear you apart with neutral attacks and projectiles, having supers as a cherry on top.
Become DashFight supporter on Patreon. Get early access to DashFight guides. Click the link in the description.
Adult Gohan is another opponent who doesn't let you breathe. He starts his block string, and you have time to make yourself a nice cup of tea, get some cake, take a nap, and Gohan will still be throwing his kicks and punches. But seriously, block strings for Adult Gohan are long and dangerous. When he manages to put you in a corner, it's the start of a tough challenge. Almost like the Evo Moment 37, where you try not to let an opening happen. You never know what to do against Android 18. Okay, we all know how to play offensively against her poor neutral and aerial game, right? But what about being defensive against 18? The problem here is with her unpredictable mix-ups. Her tools are super diverse, and the pressure is almost unbearable. Even if you are pretty good at blocking highs and lows, Android 18 uses a command grab, and you suddenly experience another combo. I actually love Goku as an anime personality, but sometimes just having so many of his forms in DBFZ annoys me, just a little bit. But my hatred towards UI Goku reaches far beyond his very presence in the game. This character is a defensive monster. In skilled hands, he will condition you to make a mistake, and then it's Ultra Instinct who has initiative. Even if you are very careful and lucky, the defensive tools of this Goku are disturbingly reliable. It's not the best place to be in a fighting game, trying to open up someone so tricky who also has pretty good offensive methods. Now let's talk about some mid characters. When you see your opponent taking this character, there are two emotional responses. The general first reaction is to enjoy your power and giggle in anticipation of your easy victory. Master Roshi is a tricky character, and not many players master his fighting tools, and this is the reason for potential failure. And then you start playing and realize that it is you who doesn't know what to do with Roshi. Your opponent is a master with the Turtle Hermit. It's a quick journey from hollow happiness to reasonable despair. Yeah, you could take your time and learn how to play against Master Roshi. Still, we meet him so rarely, it's somewhat easier just to hate him. It's normal to change turns with your opponent in a fighting game. You land some hits and then your character gets the damage. That doesn't work with DBS Broly. He is literally a truck, and when that thing hits you, prepare to die. This character is so strong. His damage is devastating. Not only is he a grappler, but also DBS Broly is a rushdown character, so he knows how to pressure. Oh, this little guy. First of all, who let the kid into the fighting ground? Our proper size Saiyans have difficulties catching him with a hit. But seriously, GT Goku is disproportionately small for the rest of the cast. And he is quick to jump all over the arena. His normals are not good, but whenever the guy gets the meter and starts using his EX moves, it's a nightmare in action. And that's not even mentioning his mix-ups. You never know what happens next with such an opponent. Talking about mix-ups, it's a nice feeling when you use your various options and open an opponent up for an impressive combo, but it's awful to be a victim of that. With Piccolo, you are often such victim. Just look at his Hellzone grenade. Those damaging energy spheres are everywhere. It is absolutely impossible to block Piccolo's stuff. And he's good in the air, and his frame data often puts you at a disadvantage. Beerus is the god of destruction, so he can't just be an easy opponent, right? The developers decided to put all sorts of layers into this character. He has something from Master Roshi, an unusual moveset that makes you puzzled. Also, you could find Piccolo's level of mix-ups here, and Gotenks' endless combos. And yeah, you could practice enough to get prepared for Beerus, but if the opponent also practices and puts effort into learning the character, fighting Beerus is not a cheerful moment. Majin Buu annoys opponents in a very special way. His hits are not actually damaging, so you watch through his combo and feel like, oh, is that it? That's pathetic. But when you think you are ready to show that impudent dude the real power, Majin Buu somehow lands another hit, and you enjoy the same show again. And again. Great mix-ups team with effective Oki, and Majin Buu knows how to open you up. His style is very versatile. Whatever the player wants to do with such a character, they do, and you just watch that pink alien and hope your next guess will not be wrong. Now on to the most hated anchor characters. Do you enjoy playing against a good rushdown character? Because base Vegeta is exactly that guy. He jumps onto you and keeps the pressure. His neutral game is excellent at the long and close range. His mix-ups might be somewhat predictable, but it's hard to keep flawless blocks in the stream of hits. And then, when he finally opens you up, the damage you get is high enough to make the whole process annoying. And let's also mention Vegeta's Ki Blast. Perhaps no one likes getting spammed with those projectiles. This character has some obvious weaknesses. Many of Android 16's neutral could be better, he's not good at gaining the meter, block strings are not totally safe, and his set of disadvantages tricks opponents easily. You might relax somehow, anticipating an easy run, but then Android 16 unleashes the strong set among his tools, and makes you regret being so careless. And one even more annoying thing is that you cannot always do something about it. Android 16 is a true master of 50-50s, and pure luck might not be on your side. In addition to that, 16 starts to really shine at the mid-range. Armored 5H, some throws, and a fast command grab, you don't want to experience that in a fight. In general, DBFZ normals are pretty fair. We all have the tools to do something in a fight, and the result depends on skills or experience. Not with Cooler though. The alien is huge, and his normals reach your character from a distance where many opponents don't feel comfortable. You can try and play a careless game against him, and this might actually work. Do something reckless, and Cooler is suddenly all yours. But the risk is high. A good punish and you find yourself in a corner. It's not a place you want to be versus Cooler. The character has weaknesses alright, but his strengths are frustrating. This character is a good example of how being hated in the anime converts into the same status in the game. Kid Buu is one of the most awful villains in Dragon Ball Z. He is pure evil, with no motivation other than destruction. Therefore, he is unpredictable. The developers created the same spirit in DBFZ. Fighting Kid Buu feels pretty much like doing that in the anime. It's hard to guess what he's gonna do, and then you just can't get rid of his unstoppable pressure. Playing against him is often overwhelming. Now let's return to the primary question. What could make players hate a character? Most of the other personalities here have an outstanding annoyance. Some consume your health in a couple of hits, some don't let you go with their endless combos, but why does a fighter with nothing of that sort still create waves of hatred? Super Saiyan Vegeta is such a character. His toolset is straightforward and effective, he has decent quality in every fighting aspect, and yes, that's exactly why many players don't like to fight him. Super Saiyan Vegeta is as annoying as his polished perfection, as any decent jack of all trades can be. Guys, I think we should stop with these masochistic self-excuses. Let's be honest, those characters are okay, and most of the time, we just don't know what to do against them, or don't really want to do that. Except for that overpowered version of Labcoat. Our hatred towards her is totally justified. Now, what should we do with this list? The obvious answer is get in the lab and delve into some practice. Surprise opponents with your skills against the most hated teams, and then surprise yourself with your many victories. Were there any characters here that you hate that didn't make the list? Or maybe you don't think that one character should be on the list? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have lots of practical fighting game guides, fun and silly videos like this one, and more. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.